Have you ever stared at your phone, heart pounding, desperately praying for a message from your kids, only to be met by deafening silence? Days stretch into weeks, weeks into months, and each passing moment of silence feels like a dagger piercing deeper into your heart. If you recognize this pain, brace yourself. You're about to confront a brutal truth that many parents fear, but few dare to discuss openly. Imagine sacrificing everything for your children, only for them to vanish from your life as if you never mattered. You're haunted by questions in the dark. Was it my fault? Did I push them away? Or worst of all, am I worthless to them now? These fears aren't just unsettling, they're terrifying. But let me make something crystal clear. Your worth was never theirs to decide. Today, we're going to face head-on what you must do when your own children abandon you. I'm not just talking about coping. I'm talking about reclaiming the dignity they stripped from you, rediscovering your inner strength, and rebuilding your life from the ground up. Don't turn away because the answers might shock you into action. Your life isn't over. In fact, it's just getting started, but only if you dare to take this next step, allowing yourself to grieve. In my own life, I've met countless parents who carry unseen scars, unreturned calls, missed celebrations, and the weight of unanswered questions. Society often tells us to just move on or be strong, as if these losses don't cut to the core. But the truth is, being overlooked or forgotten by your own children is a form of grief, a loss of routine, a loss of connection, a loss of the future you'd once envisioned. Real healing starts when you stop pretending you're fine and allow the tears to come if they must. Write a letter you'll never send. Let yourself mourn the family bond you imagined would always be there. This isn't weakness. It's simply honoring the love you poured out over the years. And guess what? Letting yourself feel it is the first step toward letting that pain transform into something new. Quick check-in. If you agree that it's important to honor and feel our emotions, comment number 1 below. If you believe staying tough and never showing vulnerability is the better path, comment number 2. I'd love to know what you think. Rediscover who you are. One personal story that comes to mind is a close friend of mine, Carol, who raised 4 kids, all of whom moved away and rarely contacted her. She felt as if she'd lost her identity once the phone stopped ringing. The silence was deafening. But she realized something crucial. She had more to offer than just being mom. She remembered her passion for painting, a love she'd set aside to help with homework and soccer practices. Rediscovering that passion gave her life a fresh spark. Now she spends her days painting landscapes and even sells her artwork locally. The best part? She feels more like herself again. So ask yourself, who are you beyond being a parent? If painting isn't your thing, maybe you love gardening, reading, knitting, or volunteering. The key is to find something that brings you joy and makes you feel alive. Reclaiming these parts of yourself doesn't mean you're giving up on your kids. It just means you're giving yourself permission to thrive, regardless of who calls or doesn't call. Setting emotional boundaries. I know another woman, Teresa, who would text her grown son every morning, desperately seeking any kind of reply. When she'd get nothing back, she'd text again and again. Eventually, she realized she was pouring from an empty cup. Her self-worth was crumbling with each unanswered message. Sometimes the most loving act you can do for yourself is to stop chasing and start finding peace within. That doesn't mean slamming doors or cutting people off. It means recognizing when your efforts are causing you more harm than healing. It's accepting that while love should be freely given, it shouldn't require begging. When you set emotional boundaries, you stand in your own strength. You no longer let someone else's silence dictate your mood or your sense of value. And paradoxically, this often opens the door for genuine reconnection because you're no longer coming from a place of desperation or hurt. If you've ever had to pull back from someone for your own well-being, comment number 1. If you think it's best to always push forward no matter the pain, comment number 2. Your experiences might help someone else feel less alone. Connecting with those who do see you. Healing can come in unexpected ways and from unexpected people. Maybe it's a neighbor who greets you with a friendly wave every morning, a newfound group of friends at a local senior center, or someone at your place of worship who always remembers your birthday. I remember when I felt most alone in my 60s, I made a new friend purely by accident. An older gentleman who struck up a conversation with me in the grocery store aisle about which brand of coffee tasted better. Our quick chat turned into a regular meetup for coffee. We shared stories, heartaches, and plenty of laughter. He reminded me that companionship can appear in the simplest of moments if we're open to it. Your children might be out of reach for now, but that doesn't mean you can't experience the warmth of human connection. It's never too late to form new bonds. And sometimes these chosen connections turn out to be some of the most genuine, fulfilling relationships in our lives. Your worth remains. It's important to remind yourself daily. Being ignored does not mean you were a bad parent or an unlovable person. Often, people drift apart because they're entangled in their own struggles or simply lose track of time and priorities. Yes, it hurts, but it doesn't define who you are. You're still the same person who woke up countless nights to soothe a crying baby, who attended every recital or game, who offered endless love and guidance. Those memories and that devotion don't vanish just because your child's attention has. Your capacity to love, to care, and to impact others is still enormous. Use your voice, even if no one seems to listen. When your calls and messages go unanswered, you might feel like your words, your story, and your wisdom have nowhere to go. But they do. Write them down. Speak them in prayer or during a quiet walk in nature. Share them with a close friend, or even record voice notes to yourself. Small moments of reflection that allow you to acknowledge your emotions. One gentleman I spoke to started writing letters to himself, recalling life lessons he'd learned over the decades. He never mailed these letters, but in time, he said it was the most healing activity he'd done in years. Every letter reminded him that his voice was still strong, that his experiences mattered, that he was worthy of being heard, even if his kids weren't the ones listening. Reflect on the legacy you're still building. Your legacy isn't just what you leave behind. It's what you're creating right now. It's in the small acts of kindness you show a stranger, the piece of advice you offer a friend, or the resilience you model for others. You never know who might be watching or who might carry your lessons forward. If you're a grandparent, your grandchildren may be looking up to you in ways you don't even realize. If you're part of a community, someone there might see your strength and silently draw courage from it. You matter more than you think. Every moment of grace you extend, every step toward healing you take, these contribute to the world around you. Shift your focus to what's present. Yes, the absence of your children's calls is painful, but take a look around. Is there a beautiful sunrise outside your window? Is there a friend you can share a cup of coffee with? Gratitude isn't about dismissing the hurt. It's about remembering that there's still good happening alongside the sadness. Try writing down 3 things each day that you're thankful for. It could be as small as enjoying a meal you love or hearing a bird sing in your backyard. These little sparks of appreciation can help balance out the weight of what's missing. Practice forgiveness for your own sake. Forgiveness doesn't mean excusing someone's behavior or pretending you were never hurt. It means releasing the grip the past has on your present. You deserve peace, not a life weighed down by resentment. Will this be easy? Probably not. Some days will feel like a struggle, but over time, choosing to let go of bitterness frees you to move forward with a lighter heart. And if some days you find yourself missing them terribly, that's okay. Healing isn't a one-and-done process. It's a journey with ups and downs. The critical part is showing up for yourself with compassion day after day. You're part of a much bigger community. It's easy to feel like you're the only person experiencing this heartbreak. But the truth is, many people are walking the same path. They've been through the same sorrow and have found ways to reclaim their joy. If anything in this conversation resonates with you, know that you're in the company of countless others. Comment number 1 if you felt less alone just by hearing these words. Comment number 2 if you're still on the fence about sharing or reaching out. Either way, your feelings are valid. Reclaiming your voice and your peace. Consider creating small, comforting rituals. Light a candle in the morning to remind yourself of the warmth you can still bring into each day. Take a short walk and breathe deeply, feeling gratitude for the air in your lungs. These gentle acts can anchor you in the present moment and remind you that you matter. You might try something entirely new. Perhaps it's an art class, a meditation group, or simply reaching out to an old friend you haven't spoken to in years. Sometimes the simplest action can crack open the door to profound change. Embracing joy in the quiet moments. Joy doesn't have to be loud or dramatic. It can be as simple as noticing how sunlight streams through your window or chuckling at a funny memory from years ago. This quiet kind of joy is a choice you make daily. It's built from the inside out and can exist even when life isn't perfect. living on your own terms. You've given so much time, energy, love. Maybe you've carried guilt for things you didn't know back then. Maybe you felt you had to keep proving your worth, but you don't. You're allowed to live for yourself now, to release burdens that never truly belong to you, to stop chasing acceptance and start embracing self-love. A new chapter awaits. Yes, you can't rewrite the chapters behind you, but the page you're on is blank and waiting for whatever you choose to create next. Acceptance isn't about giving up. It's about acknowledging what is and deciding how you want to move forward. Every day is an opportunity to decide. I choose peace over worry. I choose to honor the love I have to give. I choose to keep my heart open to new connections, new joys, and new truths. You are chosen, you are seen. If you doubt that, let me say it plainly. You are precious, not forgotten, not invisible. You have a spark within you that no one can take away, not even the silence of your children. Remember, you have survived too many storms to let this define the rest of your life. Join our community. If this message touched your heart or lifted your spirit, I invite you to leave a comment below. Maybe just a few words like, "I'm still here," or "I'm ready to heal." You never know whose day you might brighten by showing them they're not alone in this journey. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to this channel. Here at Golden Years, we're creating a community where every season of life is honored, where your wisdom is treasured, and where you are reminded every single day you still matter. You are becoming, not broken. Thank you for sharing your time with me. I hope you carry this conversation in your heart as a reminder that your life story is far from finished. The next chapter begins the moment you believe in your own resilience, in the power of your own voice, and in the value of your own existence. Until next time, keep breathing, keep hoping, and keep shining in ways only you can. You're doing better than you give yourself credit for. And remember, every new day is a chance to turn the page and start writing a chapter filled with healing, discovery, and the quiet joy of simply being you.